The best way to get over fear of public speaking and get people laughing is just to make fun of yourself. Self-deprecation's the biggest.
Yeah.
I've often said, thank God I'm a comedian, or I see things comedically, because life would be a lot sadder if I weren't. Like, even going through a breakup, you can be very sad, you can be crying, but then a funny observation about it will hit me, and I'll be like, oh, at least this will be a joke. At least I'll turn this into part of my act.
This is some material for it. I'll make money off this breakup.
Absolutely. Even some of the greatest speakers of all time sometimes are the worst speakers. Barack Obama is known as one of the great orators of our time. Sure, when he has a prepared written speech on teleprompter. You ever see him in an interview?
No.
What we're going to do? Another thing. Even in the most sad moment, at the moment when you're laughing, you're like perfectly at peace. There is no way to be upset at the moment you're laughing. I mean, people even put jokes into speeches at funerals.
That's right.
You know, I was bullied a lot as a kid because of my speech problem. I was beaten up a couple times. I was chased around. But I learned that if somebody says something, it's their insecurities coming out.
Yes,
so like,
totally.
If you can own it, if you can joke back, it's like, wow, I hope you felt real good about that insult. Did that make you feel good?
Yeah.
Oh, making fun of something I can't help.
That's
How
amazing.
nice.
We met a month ago, not even.
The last,
Yeah, at this
3
like
weeks.
invite only whatever conference in the Finger Lakes. And I remember I was sitting in the audience, and you had a bit, and you have a lot of bits. You're obviously an incredible comedian, but you went up and you started making like a lot of, we were dying laughing over like, objectively, there's nothing that really funny had happened at the conference, but somehow you just made it hilarious. And you're so talented. You know this, man. And like anyone who follows you or has seen you in the multiple ways they have, they know this. And then luckily we just happened to be in the same car on the way to the airport. It was, yeah, literally, it was great. And you said something like, hey, you know, I want some advice. I'm thinking about starting this startup, and here's what it is. And I was like, oh my God, I start startups. I think I can help.
And in the car, you jumped in and said, I'm in. And you became one of my earliest investors.
And I am super excited and honored to be on the ride with you, man.
I'm so honored that you did it. I mean, it's just that car ride was like crash course too, because I literally was just opening it that day, but I didn't have a bank account set up.
Yeah.
I didn't quite have my safe note. And you're like, here's what you do. You download this form. I'm going to loop you right now with my bank people. And all of a sudden it was in process. And then 2 other people in the car jumped on to invest. And
yeah, they also invested. Yeah.
And there's other details about that car ride I'll share with you off camera at some point. But there's great. It was just it was a wild 45 minutes of life.
It was great.
It was really
great,
cool.
It was great.
It
man.
was really
I'm
cool.
so excited. So again, the context, you know, this is, I'm starting this podcast and I'm trying to figure it out as I go.
I'll invest. Count me in.
Wonderful. Thank you. I appreciate
I'll give you the exact amount you gave me back.
Yeah, just swapperino hedging.
It's pointless.
yeah.
Pointless hedging.
Yeah,
Let's go.
what's even money?
What is it?
And I immediately thought of you because, so a little context. My first job out of college, I was a consultant in New York, as you do. And I'll never forget it. I had this, my engagement manager at the time, I won't say what her name was. She pulls me aside and she goes, Haley? And I was like, yeah. She goes, I've been hearing you laugh a lot around the office. And I was like, oh, yeah. You know, I try to have fun with whatever I do, and I really like working here. And she goes, yeah. Well, if you want to have fun, maybe consulting isn't for you.
Whoa.
This is my first week out of college.
Wow.
Ever. And I was like, is this what real life is? And so ever since then, I've kind of been on this mission to prove that you can have a lot of fun at work and still totally kick ass. And humor, it turns out, is a really big part of it.
It's a story of my life, brother.
Yeah, man. It's like, you know, I think we could all learn to laugh a little bit, like in general. And there's so many scenarios where I feel like people overthink it and they feel like they've got to be like super perfect or kind of really serious, and that's the only way to approach it. And I'm pretty sure all the research points to the opposite. I mean, think about how we met. We met because you were hilarious and you were so funny. I was like, whatever this guy is doing, I want in on what he's doing. And so I guess, you know,
that's really kind of you. Thank you.
It's something about, you know, there's something that's very powerful about humor. I also think humor is a version of kindness. I think it can put people at ease, makes people feel you're not like cornering them. And
no, humor I don't know if was that a question. Should I shut up and
yeah,
let you
jump in?
finish
Yeah.
this thing? No, it is. I mean, I really think it's one of the most disarming things in the world, and it's why I love that it's my life's mission is to bring that kind of joy to people through making them laugh. Like, I pride myself on how fast I can make someone laugh. Like, if I'm in an elevator, I'd love to make an elevator laugh.
That's amazing.
I can make an elevator laugh within 10 seconds, 5 seconds, and it just always makes me feel so good because that's an awkward time, that 1 minute ride for most people. They stare at the numbers. They don't want to look at another person.
Yeah.
And I say a silly thing, and all of a sudden we're human again.
Yes.
And we care about each other again. And it's just a beautiful little vibe to be able to,
I love
to create. That. And it's just, that's why I love stand-up comedy so much too. It's like you bring joy to a room of people in, I've been saying this since I was a kid. Why I love so much my life mission of laughter is that even in the most sad moment, at the moment when you're laughing, you're like perfectly at peace. There is no way to be upset at the moment you're laughing. I mean, people even put jokes into speeches at funerals.
That's right. Yeah.
And at that moment, you're like, oh, things are going to be okay.
That's beautiful, man.
Thanks. So, yeah.
Well, so let's talk about that. You said that not funerals, by the way.
Yeah,
Okay, if
I was
you
about to have my head. I was going down that, taking my jacket off. It's very hot. We're getting deep here.
No. So I mean,
what are some great death stories you got? Welcome back to Death Stories with Healy Cipher.
Hello, we're going to talk about
the #1 podcast
morbidity.
for grounds mortuary takers, grounds.
What are those guys that keep the
Undertakers.
Undertakers.
What a creepy name, by the way. Think of that name. They really very literally named that profession.
Yeah. They got to be buried.
I like a literally named thing, but maybe for that one field dance around it a little bit. Maybe mortuary is a little better, or like mortician, but undertaker, as though they're right beneath the ground. They just grab you and suck you down like some kind of
too literal. I agree.
Very literal. Welcome back to the Don't Be a Jerk podcast. So you pull people down to their death, huh? Tell us about why you chose this pleasant field.
So you've discussed publicly, and obviously, kind of about overcoming a childhood speech impediment by pushing yourself into performing and into comedy. And I don't know if this is something you talked about a bunch, but I thought it was so beautiful because what you just talked about is the external. You use comedy to transform dehumanized moments into this moment of connection. But my God, it seemed like you used it to transform yourself, to go through things like self-doubt. And I'd love to hear more about it. Tell us the story.
Sure. Yeah. If it's only you listening, this is really not
just
worth my time. Tell me the story. I'm never releasing this.
Yeah, that's right.
And why all the cameras? I grew up with a very severe speech problem. It was a stutter, but beyond a stutter, it was a disfluency. I couldn't make certain sounds come out of my vocal cords. It started appearing around like age 4.
No way.
Or so. And it got really bad for large swaths of my life, of my youth. My vocal cords would lock up and I couldn't say a sound. I couldn't say hi to a friend passing me in the hallway.
Was it nerves or?
It's I'll never exactly know all of what it was, I don't think. It was just a combination of things. There was something physiological going on, but I knew it was mostly psychological. I would go to speech therapists a lot, and most of the time they would just teach me these physical techniques to clear the blocks, and I knew that wasn't what the issue was for me. I was like, they're like, put an H sound in front of harder sounds so it opens your vocal cords. So instead of saying mom, say hamam. And I'm like, I'm going to sound like a breathy weirdo.
Also, is it a hamama thing?
It is. It's a very hot room that I enjoy on occasion.
With other men rubbing your back.
Okay, that's not the part I enjoy, but I don't know what you're implying. But the post party of the podcast, let's go. I just knew that wasn't the issue for me, but there was a speech therapist one time that gave me a huge moment of insight that led to all the insights that I received to be able to cure this problem. She had me read a passage once in speech therapy, a very long thing, and she's like, what did you summarize for me what you read? And I said, I don't really know what I read. I was so focused on how I was saying it, I wanted to sound perfect.
Wow.
And she goes, oh, well, maybe you should care about what you're saying.
Wow.
And I was so focused on how I was coming off, on how I was being perceived, and I was completely missing the boat from what matters, which is the message.
The message of the
thing
of the
you're
words.
saying. It's not about you. I was making it about myself. It was like an ego out of control moment. And that, by the way, is what is at the core of most people's fear of public speaking, is that they think they're so important when they're speaking. And it's really just the opposite true, as is so often with things in life. You just happen to be raised on a stage because they can see you better that way, and you're on a microphone because they can hear you better that way. But other than that, there's no difference from any other service position you're in life. Like, every job is a service. You are literally just there to do a thing. You're making fries at McDonald's, you're working in an office, you're handing a file to somebody, you're saying words to get a message to somebody. It's the exact same thing. And you think, oh, look at me, I'm on a stage, everyone's looking at me, now I have to be so grand, and am I that grand? And now you shrink, you feel big, and also it makes you shrink because you don't think you're ready for that moment. And in fact, neither is true. It's just another task, you know. And then you take a step back and realize, well, before taking a step back, people have very low expectations.
Yes.
You think when you're speaking, oh my God, everybody's going to be judging me. Nobody cares. No one is expecting Martin Luther King Jr. up there. They just want to hear a message, if paying attention at all, and if they're not on their phone the whole time.
Yes.
They're definitely never seeing you, Healy, speak at an event and be like, God, I can't wait for the soaring oratory. I can't wait for his speaking style. This is going to be incredible. They just don't want to be there, and they're like, maybe I'll get a nugget of something I can use from this.
Right.
It's not about you at all. You know, another thing that helps to remember is, like, even some of the greatest speakers of all time sometimes are the worst speakers. Barack Obama is known as one of the great orators of our time.
Yes, yeah.
Sure, when he has a prepared written speech on a teleprompter. You ever see him in an interview?
No.
What we're going to do? Another thing. It's so many uhs and ums. It's like breaks every rule of good speaking. He's like not even that great, and he's known as the best. So even there's not even like that much of a talent gap in it. It's just about confidence and carrying yourself a certain way. Then you take a step back. And by the way, I'm telling you the solutions. I'll go back if you want to a little bit of a problem. But then you take a step back and realize at that moment you're one of 8 billion people on the planet, each doing a thing. Yeah. Do you think what you're saying matters? Do you think the way you're saying it matters? Your pausing, your tone? Yeah. Then take a step further back and remember we're floating in outer space.
We're a rock in space. Yeah,
we're
that's
a speck or a marble floating through a vast, unknowable universe.
That's
right. You think what you're saying and the way you're saying it matters at all? Get over yourself. Take a deep breath and relax. And humor certainly helps as well.
Yeah.
So a big thing I teach people when I coach people on public speaking, I sometimes will do that for like corporate clients or whatever, as like a fun little side thing. Not fun. I don't really enjoy it that much, but it does bring positive benefit to people. So I sometimes do it. Is the best way to get over fear of public speaking and get people laughing is just to make fun of yourself. Self-deprecation is the biggest. So if people are afraid you have to be perfect, well, if you mess up, if I ever mess up, like here's why like I have a pretty close to zero bomb rate when I'm on stage. I tell jokes that bomb all the time, but I'll just say, oh, wow, that was really bad.
Yeah.
What a bad joke.
Yes.
I'm going to write that joke down, put it in my pants pocket, and then burn the pants when I get home. Like, that's never being said publicly again. Now they know that I acknowledge it too, and so they can feel safe again.
Yeah.
They just want the person in charge to be in control. I had to learn that. It's not about you needing to be great. They just have to know that you're in charge. You're comfortable up there, then they can be comfortable. And so I learned all these things, but for many, many years, I had to tell every teacher to never call on me in class. I had to, even in discussion groups in college, all the way through college, 15 people in the class, even though I had a TV show in college. I had a radio show at the end of high school and then TV show in college, 2 TV shows. But I would have this severe speech problem throughout. And I would, in different environments, sometimes feel comfortable, sometimes not. I would even go on my show. I developed this like tick to clear a block where I would like touch my eye with my finger. So I would literally be like delivering a joke and I'd be like, and President Clinton today did it. And I would like look like this ridiculous person on camera, but I would still get a laugh at the end of the joke. And so it taught me all these different ways to get laughs and to create timing in different ways and to make quick turns. And like, you know, I do a lot of improv in my comedy, and I really think that I've become maybe, you know, some people think one of the best at improv because I've had far more than the 10,000 hours of hitting a block or approaching a block and needing to think quickly, what left turn, what right turn can I make to use a sound I can say, to think of a different way to phrase that. And so I've just like, I think built like neural pathways that move quicker than people that have not had to deal with that kind of trauma growing up.
Well, Ben, first of all, thank you for sharing this. This is so Interesting. And you mentioned something that I loved, which was that humor tends to create safety for other people. But it also feels like maybe message here is that humor has been a way to create safety for yourself.
Big time.
Has it, I mean, tell me about that. Like, has it been a version of, is it like self-therapy? Has it ever been self-destruction? Is it both? Like, how do you?
I think it's never been self-destruction. It's been great. It's not even therapy. I think the beauty of humor is that it doesn't let things get to a painful place. It reminds you that life isn't that serious. So when something hurtful happens, I was bullied a lot as a kid because of my speech problem. I was beaten up a couple times. I was chased around. I was mocked and made fun of. And it used to hurt a lot. I spent many a day crying growing up, in elementary and high school. But I learned that if somebody says something, it's like such the cheesy, like the old saying, but like sticks and stones to break my bones, but words have never hurt me. It's really it's true. It's like, it's just words. It's their insecurities coming out.
Yes,
so like,
totally.
If you can own it, if you can joke back, if you can be self-deprecating, or maybe even like slam somebody back for hitting you. And it's like, wow, I hope you felt real good about that insult. Did that make you feel good? Oh, making fun of something I can't help.
That's
How
amazing.
Nice. How nice. You probably feel real good looking in the mirror tonight. I made somebody feel small because something they can't control. I'm a big guy. Whatever. And so it just, instead of me going home and being like, what's wrong with me? I just like deflected it. It's armor, and it's not false armor. It really works. It's like, it just knocks those arrows right back down.
It's amazing, man.
So it's a very helpful tool.
It also, I mean, I think there's some studies, and I haven't written down some in here, but there's also a bunch of studies that basically, I think my friend Naomi wrote this book called something about laughing in the workspace. I'm going to try to get her onto this. It's also a very, very critical unlock for things like creativity and getting people to be open about thinking about things differently.
Yeah, it very much is. I've occasionally also taught a workshop called Laugh at Yourself, bringing humor to the workplace and to your life in general. It's amazing for creativity. I mean, it helps you think differently. That's what I love about comedy. Like, I don't know why, I became a funny person other than my parents, both very funny people in different ways. And I grew up in a light-hearted household in that way. I mean, there was a lot of drama in my household too, but there was a lot of joy and a lot of laughter, and we watched a lot of comedy. So I just kind of learned the thought patterns and the rhythms. And ever since I was a young kid, I just saw through the artifices of society. I remember being like in first and second grade, walking around being like, that's ridiculous. And why do I have to sit at a kid's table? Why is age the determination of what table we sit at? A couple of my parents' friends are kind of idiots. Maybe they should sit at a table based on intelligence level. I could be at the big table. And also, why does the table have to be smaller? We sit at regular sized tables all year round, but we have a dinner party. Now we're on a plastic table in the kitchen that's wobbly and there's crayons on it. I don't need to draw during dinner. I can talk to the other kids.
I'm 13.
I'm 13. Everybody else is 4. What are you trying to tell me? Why am I wearing a helmet? So a lot of questions came up. But humor humor is the way to look at the world differently. So I've often said, and when we look at something differently, that's how you solve it. That's how you work your way out of a problem, out of a conundrum. I've often said, thank God I'm a comedian, or I see things comedically, because life would be a lot sadder if I weren't. Even going through a breakup, you can be very sad, you can be crying, but then a funny observation about it will hit me, and I'll be like, oh, at least this will be a joke. At least I'll turn this into part of my act.
This is some material. I'll make money off this breakup.
Absolutely. Wait for my next special. Endings coming soon. There's some content there.
Okay. Well, I've a question for you. So you've also, I'm trying to think about like your journey here, which is so.
Oh, wait. Sorry. Before you go on the journey question,
sorry.
I want to more fully answer your question. It's just that in even a work context.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because people like your old boss at that consulting company.
Yeah.
It's just such a small, incorrect way to look. People
it's
think
so sad.
It's so sad, and they're like over controlling, and they want to like be able to say, "Oh, we have an efficient running workplace here." That's not what you want. Especially you're consulting. The nature of the industry is you're trying to think out of the box for people. You're trying to help them solve problems.
Right. Yeah.
That comes through looking analytically and analyzing is what is at the brink of comedy. It's you're breaking things down. Like, what's weird about this? What's broken? Yeah. What's wrong? How can I tweak that? How can I fix that? And you can't fix it if you can't laugh at it first. You're like, you guys are all doing blah, blah, blah. How does that seem like the most efficient way? It's almost like a Seinfeld bit. What's the deal with all of you doing blank? And that's when you can then suggest a solution.
Yeah.
Is when you see it different. If you're looking at it through normal eyes,
Yeah.
you can't.
Yeah.
Thinking out of the box kind of is the sister of comedy.
Totally. Do you know Brian Regan, by the way, the comedian?
I know him. He's a wonderful
You know him
human
as a
being.
person?
I do indeed.
No.
He's one of my favorite people, one of the funniest comedians to ever live.
One of the funniest.
He's one of the funniest to ever live.
I don't know how he does it.
Did a festival with him in Norfolk, Indiana, I think it was, Johnny Carson's hometown, called the Great American Comedy Festival. And he came to one of my sets
Nebraska,
and gave me
Nebraska.
Thank you, Norfolk,
I'm from
Nebraska.
Nebraska.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Oh shit! Sorry about that.
Yeah. Hey, I'm
Indiana's where Letterman's
I'm
from.
okay with it.
Okay, thank God. Letterman's from Indiana.
Boring's part of my life.
Yeah, it's just like your whole origin story.
Yeah.
Mind if we skip it?
Yeah.
And I did a show, and Regan came up to me and complimented something I did in my set,
No
and
way.
it was like one of the great moments of my life.
Oh, I love that.
He's like an angel. He's made me laugh harder than almost anybody. He's just a brilliant, brilliant human being.
Yeah. I thought.
So I made that story about me. I'm sorry about that.
No, it was excellent work. That's the whole point. And also, I feel like he's exceptional at that thing. He watches something that happens, and he's like, this is ridiculous. And just by pointing it out, it helps. And I'd even argue that like a lot of the most successful people on the planet probably like approach life in the same way you do. Like you're approaching it and you're like, hey, how is this funny? And where's there a bit here? Which is like for me, very great. But I also feel like they're going, hey, this is maybe broken. Like, why can't you fix this? They ask the question of why is it done this way in the first place?
Yeah, I mean, it's about identifying not just that a system is broken, which most people can do, but it's analyzing it just one step further. And usually just takes even like a few seconds to think about it. And it's like, how can you then fix it? How could you theoretically tweak it? It really is something to that old adage of there's no dumb questions. There's no dumb observations. It's a thing you're seeing. Doesn't mean everyone's going to be the path to the solution, but it definitely can be a way, it's a way in. It's an entry point.
Totally.
We're off to see the wizard. Do you know what I mean?
Hell yeah, man. I do. Okay, so you often describe yourself as neurotic, actually, which is interesting because when you meet you, you're like, dude, it's like this easygoing, always has the right thing to say, knows everybody. And so, how have you I suppose harness some of that self-awareness in approaching what you do and thinking about your bits and is it something you've overcome? Is it something that makes you better? How do you think about that?
I've definitely not overcome my neuroses. I have a birthday party this week while I'm starting a startup in the same week, and my neuroses have been spilling out in major ways. It's just not the forward-facing part of my personality I usually give people. But yeah, I've called myself Neurotic Gangster. It's the name of my first special. My Showtime special. It's on Amazon Prime now. You should watch it. Thanks for asking. And it's the name of my production company too. My first production company. I think neuroses. It's a double-edged sword because I think your question's about how the self-awareness has.
Well,
because I can tell you about the neuroses, but
obviously you know that about yourself because you've talked about it. So I guess when you approach situations, anything, it's a part of you knowing that about yourself, but comics aren't known as neurotic. They're known as easygoing, and they have this hilarious commentary. So how has that been part of how you approach it, I suppose is the question.
How I approach my comedy, my career?
Yeah. And bringing humor into things. And this is the question. How do you harness your self-awareness and anxiety to comic material?
I don't have anxiety. I don't really experience anxiety very much, thank God. The neuroses is more just like my brain gets stuck in the options, the optionality of a problem, and it's a bit of paralysis of choice. And I just get stuck in especially with smaller decisions, because it's so arbitrary, it could work all of the ways that I'm like, damn it, which of the ways do I then choose? Bigger things are a little bit more clear because you feel also like a guttural and a heart reaction to it.
Yeah.
I think neuroses is helpful for analyzing things. I think but it can be too much. And you need that gangster side to also be like, all right, let's now kick it into gear and make a choice. The self-awareness is very important. By the way, I think comedians are totally known for being neurotic. I think they're known for being maybe fun, but they're also known for being depressed. I'm not depressed, thank God, but they're known for being depressed.
Why is that, by the way?
Because you see through the artifice. So that's maybe the negative. Sometimes people, like I said, comedy can be amazing for helping you take a problem in stride. Yeah. But also it can be when you see through all the systems.
You see into the matrix.
A little bit. And you're like, oh boy, there's a lot to tackle here.
Oh, that's interesting.
And I think that's part of it. But also a lot of comedians just had hard childhoods and hard times, and they just have real depression.
They grew up making themselves laugh that's probably what.
Totally.
Yeah.
And also you'd be surprised, but a lot of comedians aren't really that funny. they just wrote funny acts, but they're not the funniest people.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, a lot are, but not all are. If you meet a comedian, it doesn't
Really?
mean that person's funny. Like, but yeah, I just think, you know, people are afraid of insight. People are afraid of knowing themselves. And anytime you're afraid of knowledge, how does that make any sense? You're afraid of a truth, and especially about the person that you're going to need to get in concert with to succeed in life is yourself. If you are afraid of learning, you're just going to repeat your habits. Really, you're in your pitfalls over and over and over again.
God, I love that. What an interesting idea, Ben, is using comedy as a way to continue your learning, because you're questioning everything. You're thinking about the angle all the time. You never fall into the same. What an interesting idea.
Totally.
That sounds really fun. Like, I feel like your life must be pretty fun. You're always thinking of the thing to like deconstruct. Or...
Totally. You know, like I like to like sometimes smoke weed. I don't smoke a lot. I used to be a stoner back in the day. I'll smoke these days every couple weeks just to kind of, I use it sometimes creatively to tweak the way I think. And to,
interesting.
It's an incredible creative outlet for me.
Yeah.
Or creative tool rather. But I wrote a joke the other day talking to somebody because I was at a party and we smoked a little weed, me and this new friend, and we were like dropping in, and it was like a great conversation, and then we like lost the thread for a minute.
like what we were talking about.
And then she was like, "Okay, we're both stoned, and I think we like forgot what we were saying." And I'm like, no, I think we're fine. We can get it back. And I just pulled my phone out because I promised I'd always write our joke down in the exact moment that I think of it. When I was 18, and I have not really broken that since. Even occasionally, like during sex, I'll be like, "I'm so sorry, I have to write this down." Occasionally, sometimes I'll try and remember that one. I don't try to do that often, but it has happened. If it's like a really good one.
Hey Siri, write this down.
Yep, her name sometimes is Siri.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, it's helpful.
Interesting.
It's confusing actually.
Yeah, forever.
They both start writing it down. Her name sometimes is Siri. I'm dating lots of girls. That's the dumbest joke I ever told in my life. But I thought there was another.
But the writing it down part is good.
The writing it down part was good. And I wrote down, I love getting stoned because I can have the same conversations I could have sober, but also not remember them.
Yeah, that's good.
But that insight now is making me question, like, why am I trying to have deep conversations in moments where like it's not going to enter my long-term memory well? And it's like there's an insight there, even though it's a joke. Probably more of an insight than a joke, considering the tepid reaction in this room. Is this thing on? Hello? Hello?
Okay, so when you also, I love this. I learned this shortly after we met because I was just like, I gotta learn more about Ben. Is you started this "Don't Be a Dick" petition.
Yeah.
And it was like, I think it was both. It was like a comedic, but also kind of an ethical statement, right?
Yeah, it wasn't really comedic. It was started on my podcast, Last Week on Earth. You can subscribe if you'd like. Thank you for asking. My season 1 of my podcast back in like 2011. I had my dear friend Sophia Bush on the podcast. She was a new friend at the time, and we were just talking about how people can be dicks, and we identified that that's sort of like the problem with the world is that sometimes people are just dicks. Like your whole reason for this podcast, don't be a jerk. And so we're like, don't be a dick. That's the solution. I'm like, I'm going to start the Don't Be a Dick pledge. She's like, yes, I'm in. I'm trying to do her raspy voice. And I started it that next day, the Don't Be a Dick pledge. It's, you know, we pushed over the years. Surprisingly, not a lot of people. It didn't go viral like I
signed
hoped.
it.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you. You can sign it at tinyurl.com/don'tbeadickpledge because the only thing worse than being a dick is being a dick pledge. Yeah. And so please go there and sign if you'd like. But and there's a little thing I wrote there, but it basically breaks down like that is the problem. I think we could have world peace truly with interpersonal peace and world peace if we just all agreed to not be dicks. It's basically just the golden rule, and to call people out when they're being dicks, to not allow it, because so many times somebody just gets more and more power in their dickishness by not being stopped, by not having anybody be like, bro, that's not cool.
Yeah.
You know, that's why sometimes you have to take action, even occasionally harshly, to stop people who are spreading negativity. You can't really do that.
Totally. Humor can be a way to like empathize with people, but also sometimes I feel like people might be nervous to be funny because like maybe they don't know if they're going to cross the line, or maybe they do cross the line. How do you balance that? Because it's so, I mean, you're like a seasoned pro, but for people who are like, I want to be funny now. How do you like, one, how do you gauge that? And then two, if you go over the line, how do you pull it back? Like, what are the options here?
Okay, it's a good question. It's one of the harder questions with comedic approaches to life. Is these days become harder. It used to be very easy.
Yeah, you can be canceled.
Yeah, 5-8 years ago was easier. Now, luckily, it's opening back up a bit, so the cancellation is happening less. I think people are like realizing we went a little aggro on that.
Yeah, it was a little.
And so it's becoming a little open again. But still, I think it's good to evolve as a society and not be saying or doing things that are like blatantly offensive to people. You have to realize that I think humor should be given leeway. I think comedians especially should be given leeway because we question society, and to do so, you have to be able to push boundaries and to see what gets reactions and be able to question premises. But for people who are not professional comedians, you need to tread a little bit carefully. I would say the best way is making fun of yourself. Self-deprecation is always safe.
Safe.
Very easy to do. No one's getting mad because you called yourself an idiot.
Right. Very easy for me. And if I don't have material, my wife has a lot for me.
I know. Yeah, and as soon as we're done, I'm going to hit you with a lot of observations.
I would. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, just
you can use against yourself later. Totally. And then, I mean, it's some of the obvious things, but just in professional environments, if you're not with like your best friends or your family, like don't. I mean, you shouldn't do this with friends or family or best friends either, ideally, but don't hit on race, don't hit on gender issues, don't hit on immutable things, don't make fun of things. I don't even do that on my crowd work, hardly ever. If I'm
What's an immutable thing? What does that mean?
A thing you can't change. I might not be using that word correctly, am I?
I don't know.
I think I am. I think immutable means you can't change it.
That sounds right.
That sounds right to me.
And not only does it sound right, it sounds really smart.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Unless people are Googling now and they're like, he's very stupid. It's not at all what it means. It means people that can never shut up. They're immutable.
Voice modulation.
Correct.
Yeah, that's right, because they can't change it.
I make fun of choices because choices are like, oh, what a dumb order you made for lunch, dude.
Yeah.
You're right. This is so stupid, but like, what a dumb face you have.
Yeah.
You can't really, I mean, you can change it these days, and many do, but it's quite a painful, lengthy, expensive process.
People.
It's very true. It's very true.
Yeah.
And also but the biggest key is just you have to ride the vibe. You got to read the room.
Yeah.
That's the biggest key is like.
You're really good at that, by the way.
Thanks.
I was noticing that during your, there's a moment, like you had the crowd at a certain energy and then it dipped for a second and you sensed it and you pulled it right back up. How did you do that? Do you know what I'm talking about, by the way?
Sure. I don't remember the exact moment, but I'm aware. I remember the set, generally speaking. And I mean, every set has waves. You have to be comfortable in the silences. You have to be able to, an amateur will try to push through. And instead you have to acknowledge and be, like you have to be in the flow to be good at these moments. So I'm going to finish that point in a second. But the point about, no, it's okay. But I'll do both tracks. I'm that good as a podcast guest. I'm available for bookings.
Yeah.
And now watch, I won't be able to remember. So you need to just read the room and read the vibe, but you can tell when somebody's getting tense. That's why, like, I make fun of people for a living. I've almost never had people upset at me because I can tell what line, just by their eyes, by their vibe, by their body language. You can tell if you're saying something that's sensitive or if people are laughing and smiling along with you. Oftentimes a crowd will be upset for the person on their behalf when the person's laughing their ass off, and I'll have to sometimes say, it's okay, he's laughing, everybody. You can let loose.
Interesting.
And so to that point about that set at Finger Lakes, or any set, is you have to be comfortable. It goes back to that point I made about public speaking, about letting them know that you're in control. Being in control is not papering over a mistake. People try to paper over mistakes or low moments, and instead it's about sitting in it, being comfortable, and letting them see that you can. So I'll fully let energy drop. I'll let it be quiet. I'll walk around the stage for 3, 4, 5 seconds. Okay. Moving on. And even that's enough. They're like, oh, wow, this guy's the captain here.
Wow.
So this
is so much more than comedy, man. I mean, this is like, obviously it's about comedy.
No, it applies to anything. You don't have to be bringing jokes to use these principles by any means. It's about leadership. It's about speaking. It's about letting people know they can trust you. It's in relationships, the same thing, you know? It's sort of like a great piece of advice in a relationship once that my late friend Siddiqui Fuller gave me. He was having some little bit of moment of drama with his girlfriend, and he texted her this great thing, and he just, instead of like my neurotic style would have been like, let me address every point and tell you why maybe we don't need to be fighting about this. And instead he just texted her, I love you, baby, and I got you. And that was just so...
That's what she needed.
With what she needed. It was so calming. And so I think it's just that. You have to be comfortable in the silence, and you have to know that there's great power in that. Like, did you see that silence I just did?
It was really powerful.
Thanks.
It was palpable. I feel moved in many places.
Put your hands on the table.
So you mentioned humor is a great way to connect with people, but it can also be sometimes seen as a way of avoiding something. And so is there an approach you take when you are kind of approaching something to make sure that you're not seen as avoiding it? Or is it a way to disarm? Like, how do you think about it? Can ever be the wrong moment to make a joke?
Totally. I mean, I think you just can't. You have to read the room, read the moment, and you don't want to be a joker constantly. Like when I was in elementary school, I always was voted, or often was voted, class comedian, not class clown. I don't want to be you don't want to be the clown. I mean, some people do, but my point is you don't want to like be a goofy person who's always making light of anything and is incapable of seriousness. Comedy is about feeling the pathos too, and feeling those quiet moments, and then breaking that tension. But you can't break tension if you don't let it build. And that's just for the thing, but also be a human being.
Yeah.
I'm always a human being first. And so you want to connect and you want to listen. And the key to everything, to comedy, to acting, to hosting, to being a good leader, to being a good person, to being a good partner, a good romantic partner, it's really listening is the most important and most undervalued thing. People think they have to present a certain way, say a certain thing, do a certain thing. You just need to listen. You need to be aware of what the person's needs are. You see it in their eyes and their body language and their vibe. And, be a real person. Care first, and then that will lead to your biggest insights, to your best advice. Like what's good advice, what's good care, what's good love is when somebody feels truly heard and seen by you, not by you going to a canned line you've been waiting to say and not listening to them for a while.
Yeah. You know what I love about this, Ben? There's so many really interesting. I mean, we're obviously talking about comedy and your amazingly successful career in comedy, but there's so many things that just like as a human, you should just adopt these things. Yeah. Like listen, don't make fun of people, know what they want to get, show empathy, like observe things that might not be right and just like think about it differently.
Hold the space, be comfortable in the silence, put things in perspective, get over your own ego, realize we're all just playing a role, we're all just cogs in a machine we never will understand. I love also how astounded you are that comedians are also humans with human observations. You're like, I know you're a comedian, but you're also a person, and this is breaking news.
Yeah. A lot of revelations happening for me.
A lot of revelations. I love that.
Okay, so here, rapid fire questions. Is can you recall the last time your humor clearly uplifted someone else who needed it?
Other than constantly throughout this podcast? For you personally?
Yes.
Uplifted somebody who needed it? Sure. I mean, what popped first in mind was at my father's funeral when I gave him a eulogy and put lots of humor in there because he loved to laugh, and I felt the people in the room needed to laugh, and I needed some moments of levity. With my ex, one of my exes, without naming names, who dealt with a lot of very serious depression, and I just made it my mission to try to make her laugh in those sad moments, and just those moments I just tried to be as silly and fun and just like show her how light and fun life could be, to just break the cycle of that moment. I always, when I try to take on that moment, of course, this person did not successfully in the end battle their depression, but I always remember this great thing Robin Williams did was he talked about once when, or maybe Steven Spielberg talked about when he was shooting Schindler's List. He was shooting on location in these very, very tragic places, and Robin Williams called him every day and just made him laugh, just was as silly as possible because he needed it in those moments. Wow. And so I sometimes try to do that if I see a friend that's down. I just try to make them laugh. I
didn't know that. That's a beautiful story.
Yeah, Robin Williams was an incredible talent.
Incredible man.
So
the tunnel that we drive through over the bridge is the Robbins Williams tunnel with the rainbow on it. I see it like multiple times a week. Yeah, it's great.
And Robbins Williams, is that somebody different?
Robin Williams. Yeah,
Robin
exactly.
Williams, you mean?
Oh, yeah. Hey, wonderful. We're all overcoming our different speech.
I'm a big fan of Robbins Williams, who in an alternate universe was a great comedian.
It was a nice thing I was trying to say.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. You see?
Okay, here's another one. What's the most surprising thing stand-up comedy has taught you about people?
Stand-up comedy has taught me a lot about people, but it's taught me that generally speaking, people have a very good sense of humor about a lot more than you might expect. It's taught me that when people don't have a good sense of humor and get mad at a joke, it's usually due to like deep societal programming. It's mostly only done when people like have visceral reactions based literally on like intentional disinformation programming from like news networks or from people have like angry reactions. And it's like, if you're so confident in your beliefs, you wouldn't get angry. You'd be able to hear a thing that's different than what you think. And so people like really tighten up and will yell, and it's almost always political. So that's quite interesting. It's just like people of these power structures have weaponized people's empathy and their hearts, and that's not cool.
Yeah.
It's taught me in a beautiful way that, because I've been fortunate to perform all around the world, that humor is very universal.
I love that.
I mean, even in places where predominantly they speak other languages but know enough English to hear a stand-up set, it's the same moments, the same pauses, the same premises that make people generally around all of planet Earth laugh. We really are very similar and have very similar human experiences, and I think that's a beautiful thing.
That's an incredible insight.
Thanks. And you're welcome.
Thank you. Yeah.
And just that everybody loves to laugh. It really is the great disarmer. You know, there have been even scary moments, but I'll make somebody laugh, and then I feel safer, and they feel safer. You know,
I love that.
Like you've laughed a few times during this podcast, and I stole your wallet, and you're unaware even.
It was worth it.
I think so.
Yeah. Enjoy the zero
not for me. I looked in there. There's nothing in
zero
there.
cash.
Nothing of value. A Costco card? Thanks and no thanks.
What's the best piece of advice another comedian has ever given you?
That's a cool question. When I was starting out, Bob Marley, the white comedian, not the black singer, and Butch Bradley both gave me the advice to not create a crutch of needing to have a drink before you get on stage, which many comics fall into that trap. And that was very helpful to learn, because I could have probably created bad habits in that way. Chappelle gave me an amazing moment of insight once many moons ago, early in my career, when I was hosting a show at the Laugh Factory, and he popped in to go on. He's even at the time was one of the biggest comedians on planet Earth. And I was like, Dave, so I'm going to go up in a minute when the comic on stage is done. I'm just going to do a couple of minutes. I have this quick thing to do. I'm going to bring you right on. And even though he's a guy that likes to go up pretty quick, he just so chill said, do your thing, man. And it was just nice to be reminded that even from the greats, like, to be the great, you have to be in that flow. You can't be so fragile that something can throw you off. Where like, is it better for him to like fight me, my energy and what I wanted to do, and say, no, man, I go up immediately, bring me right up? And there are comics that'll say stuff like that.
Really?
And they're usually people that are then known for like being not chill and not the nicest people.
A little rougher behind the scenes.
100%.
Yeah.
And they end up usually not really having the longevity, I think, that you want. And I think it's just being water really is, being in that flow is so important. And so just go with the flow. It just makes more sense. Like, keep the energy positive. A lot of times people try to optimize for control of a moment rather than staying in a flow. And it's such a miscalculation. It's kind of like what your boss of the consulting company, they were trying to control the environment rather than let people be their best selves and their own natural selves. And as I'm starting my own essentially startup with this show I'm creating, my friend just gave me the advice is like that they were given when they were starting their company is like, don't over optimize moments. You don't want to like try to win every point at the cost of like having it be this weirdly like Frankenstein thing. You know, go what flows.
So let's talk about it. I mean, you're starting this new late show. I'm obviously very excited and an investor. Why are you starting it? What's the goal?
So first, let me just kind of tell people what it is. I'm creating something that I've always, since I was a child, wanted to be a late night talk show host. I did it in college for 4 years. I did it for the National Lampoon Network for 3 years after that, and then haven't done it for about 20 years. And I realized a gap in the marketplace that made me, I realized a few years ago, this is the first time in history that I can give myself my own talk show due to the amazing technologies that we have in our pockets now, and the technologies that we have, the democratization of content and being able to create stuff without needing gatekeepers. But yet I was still stuck in waiting for gatekeepers for like the bigger things. And then I had this aha moment that I realized there is no late night talk show for the internet. It just doesn't exist. And so I'm going to create it. And it was just such a powerful and daunting. It's a big undertaking,
Yeah.
but a very powerful realization. It's so powerful and kind of scary that I've been sitting on it for like years.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah. I've been like talking about it with friends and not doing it. And I just finally decided to do it.
Hell yeah.
I was, my mom has this great saying always. She says, sometimes you lead life and sometimes life leads you. And I think it's important to lean into both and to trust the flow of both. But sometimes you feel pulled to finally take your own destiny back into your own hands and get in the driver's seat. And I just finally have reached that point again. And I want to bring joy to people in a way that doesn't need to be, uber commercialized. We're going to have some sponsors, of course, but like, I don't want it to be owned by multinational corporate conglomerates. I don't want it to be cancelable. I don't want to pull the rug on people. I don't want it to be boring and old and staid and the repeated things. I love the format and the vibe of this like warm place to go and have a host that like helps you laugh and unwind from your day and your week. But I want it to be in a way that's also of the moment and kind of genre redefining by making it loose and fun and open. And I wanted to help people around the planet be exposed to all kinds of different ideas and modalities and platforms and concepts that could improve their lives, that could give them community, that could give them exposure to things that those of us who are like tapped into these startups and these new modalities. And if we live on, on the coast or in certain cities, you get exposed to earlier, but the 95% of the world that won't be exposed to these amazing ideas for many years to come, through comedy, people are much more open to new ideas and new things. And I want to be able to like help elevate the conversation globally, help expand and evolve the consciousness of what we can talk about, what a late night show could do. It doesn't have to be all about celebrity culture.
Yeah.
So we will have celebrities on, but alongside them, we're going to be booking the thought leaders, change makers, innovators, biohackers, wellness experts, relationship experts, people creating an app maybe that can help you control your finances or budget your life, or a mental health app that you might not have been exposed to, or a modality or a practice, a breath work or whatever it might be, something that can just help regulate your nervous system, make your life more enjoyable, make you exposed to ideas you might have never been exposed to, and I'll just offer something of value to the audience, deep value in each episode, in addition to just laughter, which is important, but laughter can be a gateway to bigger ideas and bigger things. And also I want to have conversations that get us out of the echo chamber, to get us out of these algorithms of content that are just created as little bite-sized things to get people riled up to speak to already the converted. I want to have conversations. I want to have round tables. I want to be able to talk to each other. And more than anything, I want to create like a global water cooler moment. We used to have these things that would bring us together and society felt more cohesive. And because we're so bifurcated now, I really want to create a thing that people don't want to miss. And so once a week or twice a week, you'll be able to see this show, and it's something that we can have as a common point of reference again.
I love that.
Streaming services are dropping all the episodes at once, and you binge it, and if you watch it a month after everybody else did, you're out of the conversation. I want it to be a kind of appointment viewing and a thing that like is a little bit light, a little bit serious, a little bit interesting, but it's just the vibe is something that's welcoming and that makes people want to be part of this fun world. And it's interactive. You can be in our audience from around the planet as well, in our video walls, laughing and applauding and asking questions and interacting with me and our guests sometimes. And just going to be a cool democratization of late night, I think.
I'm obviously very excited. It's comedy for good. That's what it is.
Thank you, man. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. And I don't know if I should be the one who announced it or you want to, but Healy has just agreed to triple his investment.
That's right. That's right. It's a verbal contract.
It's a verbal contract. You just said, that's right. That's right. That's a verbal contract. So we have those words. It's very kind of you. No, I mean, I'm so touched at your belief in me, and I'm really excited to be able to bring this to the world. And as a side note, right there, I just had a little hint of my speech problem right there. I said, thank you for your belief in me. And you can hear like this little thing that happened.
Interesting.
But in the past, I would hit that and it would be like a panic moment when I was a kid, or even through my, early 20s. And instead I had that and it was just like nothing. It's like, it's just a moment. It's just let it roll by. Nothing is so important. Don't, one of the great quotes that I ever heard, it was not comedy related at all. It was Kenyon Martin one time in the NBA finals was asked in a pre-show interview, a pre-show package, how do you deliver in these high pressure moments? How do you not get nervous? How do you not crumble under pressure? And he said, never let the moment be bigger than what you're trying to accomplish.
Oh, that's big.
It's so important
It's
to
so
realize
useful.
that. Yeah. People get so tight in a moment and try to, again, over-optimize for a thing, for a moment. But the only way to stay relaxed is to stay relaxed and realize that every one moment is just kind of a drop in a big bucket. And so stay in the flow and then just sink that jumper, because there'll always be another opportunity.
Love that, man. Ben, thank you, man.
Of
Seriously,
course.
I really appreciate this. Okay, last question is, how can people find you if they want to learn more about the thing that you're maybe not announcing?
No, I'm announcing it. It's just the title. I don't know if I wanted to say.
Okay.
Yeah, please, you can follow me at Ben Gleib on Instagram, Gleib. That's my biggest, most active platform. Not biggest, but most active. I love it. I'm addicted to it. I spend too much of my life on it. I live there. I accept mail there.
Yeah.
So follow me there, and my link in bio on my Instagram has links to a lot of the things I've done in my career and do. You can see my first 2 stand-up specials, Neurotic Gangster and The Mad King, which is available on YouTube. I'm proud of that one. My game show, Idiotest, is on Pluto TV and streaming on multiple streaming platforms. You can get a link to it right there, and to all kinds of other stuff that I've done and will be doing. You can even subscribe to my OnlyFans there, which is a real...
That was a joke I was going to make.
It's not even a joke. I
Really?
literally have an OnlyFans.
I think I'm your next subscriber.
Thank you so
If
much.
I can move fast.
And I hope that's actually true, because OnlyFans is trying to expand beyond adult-only content. So they've been doing things with comedians. So we did a taping, and they're releasing clips, and so it's just like kind of a Patreon type platform. And so at onlyfans.com/Ben Gleib, you can pay for like $6 or $7 a month. You get 3 exclusive videos or photos a week from me, and DMs and all kinds of content, exclusive stand-up clips, random behind the scenes parts of my life.
I'm going to do this. Is real. I'm going to do
100% real, and I really would
Awesome.
love...
Okay, cool.
Because I get a bonus if a certain number of people subscribe in the next month. So
Okay.
please do subscribe.
Okay, let's do it.
I want you to invest in all of my things, even the weird ones that are going to make people think you're obsessed with me.
Thank you, man. That was great.
Thank you so
Seriously,
much
really
for having
appreciate
me.
it. Dude, you're so good at this stuff.
Thanks,
Oh my God.
brother.